good? Okay, everyone good? Oh, let me find it inside me. Another one of these fucking episodes. I'm already tired of the show.
Lance, we're on.
Okay. All right, so welcome to another episode of the Cicada Sessions here at lovely Field Day in Lawrenceville. I'm your host, Lance Parkin, and joining me is Mr. Curtis Caldwell. How you doing, man?
I'm great, man. How are you?
Good. I pronounced that right, Caldwell?
Caldwell.
That's
yep.
my father's mother's maiden name. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
Are we related?
So I got a little Caldwell on me too, you know?
Gotcha.
Maybe after the show
Yeah.
too, if you know what I mean. So we had Curtis in, we had Curtis in, he's an actor here in Pittsburgh. He's getting into some other stuff. We'll talk about that. But you were in a Locust Street production recently. At the first Cicada event was basically your showcase because you were in every movie that night.
I mean, I didn't request it, but you set it up that way, didn't you?
Yeah, that really seemed to work out that way. So you're a very active actor, and we love you here. We love you here at Locust Street.
Love you too.
Right?
Oh yeah, Lance. Here, we forgot.
Oh, that's right. I forgot, Curtis. All right, so let's just put that right there. Cool. Yeah, that's nice, right? That's nice.
Yeah, that's really memorialized our friendship.
Yeah,
with this one.
yeah, it's really nice. So you've acted for a while, man. I mean, how many projects would you ballpark say you're in?
I don't even keep track anymore. I mean, honestly, there's some that are still cooking and some that just stop cooking. They never actually become anything. They just kind of fall flat.
Which is prone to happen in indie film.
It does. So it's at first I was very picky and choosy about who I kind of worked with at first, and I kind of found myself some people that I really wanted to work with. And then after doing a lot of 48-hour films, I started finding that sticking with your own network, it only keeps it so tight.
Yeah.
And yeah, maybe you love them, but you don't get to experience how other people direct, how other people do lighting. I kind of wanted to start experiencing everybody else around Pittsburgh just to kind of see, I don't know, who my A-team might want to be, people that I want to bring together, and when I maybe start writing some of my own stuff, who I'd want to bring on board to that.
Yeah. What is it like working with so many different types of creative people and visions? Because I've acted before, but I've acted with people that I know well or who have worked with us. It's been a little more symbiotic with who I've worked with.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think I've ever gone cold onto a set with somebody I barely know since 2016. They were Point Park kids. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So what is that experience sort of like in general, working with all these different people?
The first time I ever jump on a new project where I've never worked with anybody before, it's kind of just a leap of faith.
Yeah.
And with some of them, you can kind of understand even before you're on set. I probably won't work with them again. I probably won't want to.
Really?
Just because of how they handle certain things, certain professionalism that's either there or not there.
I mean, I'm sitting right here, but yeah, okay. Cool.
We'll get into it.
Yeah.
But when it comes to jumping on those, I do have the sense of there is that magic that's on stage, and sometimes it's captured in the camera, and I've followed so many actors that seem to make such a curveball choice on working with certain people and doing certain characters, who plays Harry Potter again?
Radcliffe.
Yeah. Daniel
Radcliffe
decided to be a corpse.
Yeah.
In
A
Swiss
farting
Army
corpse, yeah.
Man.
Brilliant film.
Brilliant film. And, that kind of calls back to why I was so okay with when I tried to work with this one team, Joe Bucci. I've never worked with him before.
I know Joe, yeah.
And he was great, very professional.
He's going to be on here eventually.
Very kind. And I loved my entire experience except for some cold issues because I had to be a corpse in that entire pilot episode. Mainly because one of his friends decided to back out last minute.
So you were just a corpse the whole way through it?
I was a corpse the whole way.
So when you say cold-ish,
through
you mean actual temperature?
Actual temperature, it was still really, it was I think below freezing at one point where I had to be in just my whitey tighties.
Oh, I saw the pictures.
Yeah, and covered in peanut butter.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you want to know more, you'll have to check out Joe Bucci's pilot.
Yeah. I think we can't name. I think right. You can't name it.
I'm not sure if we can name it yet, but it was a lot of fun. I met a lot of good people on that actually got me introduced to other writers that I'm now working with. So yeah, I think what I've learned from opening up my network and taking leaps of faith, I should say, by taking those leaps of faith, I am sometimes struggling through it. Sometimes I'm being tortured through it. I'm learning a lot, and I'm still gaining a lot of knowledge about how other people run sets, whether that's how I want to run it or how I don't want to run it.
Yeah, you can like pick and choose like a patchwork of what you've seen to like sort of create like your own way of doing stuff. Yeah. So you're finding the whole situation enriching, basically.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So what about like that? How do you navigate, like, so you said sometimes you're like, I'm not going to order them again. Other times you're like, wow, there's like a magical thing here.
Yeah.
So how do you keep yourself focused in that middle ground where you're like, those projects, like, there's got to be projects you do where, like, I don't know, maybe like a commercial or something that you're just sort of doing to do it. Like, do you still find the same value out of things like that?
Honestly, yeah. I mean, right now I'm in a very lucky situation where I don't have to struggle for every penny that comes into our home. I'm well off enough because I married someone who supports me so well that I can focus on the creative aspects and not stress out so much when I'm not getting the commercials. But I do have an agent. He gets me commercials, and some of those commercials are I just got to do it because I got to do it. And I don't always believe in the process. I don't really even care to be in the commercial business. I don't want to direct a commercial. I don't really want to write a commercial. The acting in the commercials is just something that gives me and my wife just a little extra jingle to make things more comfortable so I can go after bigger projects.
Yeah, a little cheese. Yeah. Okay, well, I mean, you mentioned some stuff where you want to take yourself.
Yeah.
But before we get into that, I think, like, is it okay if we show like a little bit of your reel or something? Like, show a little bit of the stuff you've been up to, like
little sizzle reel.
Yeah, a little sizzle. Let's get a little sizzle going. Okay, yeah. We'll cut to the clip.
Questions?
Let's say we do find it. How's law enforcement gonna seize it?
They're not. You are.
How?
By stealing it back.
This is your fault, now she's gone!
No choice!
I didn't really get a good look. Just felt like they had it in for me.
You saying this car ran you off the road?
I'm not sure. It just felt intentional.
No offense, ma'am. Why would someone do that?
Are you serious? Jesus, Chloe. A blessing in disguise. I can't believe you just said that. My father is dead. Okay.
You did not seem to have very much compassion when my father died.
That's different.
Different. Different.
We're gonna be okay. Yeah? So you ready to do this?
Woke up cold and out of touch. The photos and the memories will never be enough. But if I could walk those streets today, would you still feel so far
You gonna be okay?
away?
Yeah. It's just stuff. Oh shit, my keys.
You can crash at my place. I mean, if you want.
No, that's not what I was.
Unless you prefer breaking and entering.
No.
We're back. Clip's done.
Hey, that was awesome, dude.
Yeah,
Great
thanks.
stuff. Great stuff. Yeah. So I think you alluded to it a little bit in the first half here. You said you want to sort of take yourself artistically in different directions.
Yeah.
Are you comfortable talking a little bit about that?
Sure.
Even
Yeah.
if it's more general, it doesn't have to be specific. But
Yeah. Yeah. Well, as an actor, you know, I'm only one demographic. I can only play so many roles. I can only be on so many sets for so long. You got a camera guy on a series. Camera guy can be on that series the entire time. If I'm just, you know, one small role, I'm only on there maybe a day or two. So there is a lot of downtime with being an actor. And I'd really like to still feel fulfilled in the filmmaking industry in another way. And I've always been kind of like an idea guy. And I've got a lot of film ideas, short film ideas, full feature film ideas, series. And I have like this urge to direct as well.
really,
And so I'm not going to be able to be in this next 48 here in the fall. But in the spring, I'm going to commit to directing and leading a team
you're gonna do it.
in the spring.
I mean, honestly, I think that's a good starting point.
Yeah.
I mean, what we're doing right now, the 48 was the impetus. That's how I met a lot of these folks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's a great place to do that sort of thing.
Yeah. I think.
And so this has always been part of your goal? Like,
I think that I've always wanted to make more decisions when it comes to how the final product turns out. After a while, I mean, as an actor, you probably know that I come up, I do my thing, but then once I leave, it's not in my hands anymore.
Yeah.
And that can either be great. I've definitely worked with some people that have made a performance that I was not confident in, and I look at the screen and I'm like, wow, I look really good.
yeah.
That turned out really great. The editor did a really good job of
Thanks, dude.
cutting out all
Right,
the
Jeff?
stuff.
That was not mine. That was not mine.
Like cutting out all the stuff where I was very, you know, not in the character or something like that. And then there's other times where I feel like my performance was there, but the edit or the camera work just wasn't what I would have wanted. So
Yeah.
if maybe I was in the driver's seat a little bit more, I could catch things like that and steer a movie a little bit more towards my vision.
Yeah. So was it like chicken or egg? Like, did you always, when you were set out to act, you're like, maybe someday I'll like write and direct, or was it more like through the process of acting, you're like, you know what, these assholes do it, I could do it. You know what I mean? Like, did you see it and you're like, I would actually like, I would actually like to do this. Like,
Yeah, I mean, like, I started out not even thinking that I could act, and then after a while, I came upon some opportunities, found out that acting was a possibility, and all I ever wanted to do from that point on was act. I caught the bug, and I wanted to be the next Leonardo DiCaprio or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
And then after doing this for so long and watching other people work and seeing how I like some directors way about just communication with other people, not even the actors, and their communication with the actors when it comes to their creative vision. You know, I like some things and I don't like some things, and I've been learning and listening in all of these different networks that I've planted myself in, trying to figure out how I would like to come off as a director, how I would like to make people feel on my set.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And so, like, before we close out here, I'm gonna throw a curveball at you. I didn't warn you about this whenever we had the pre-interview talk, but you know, you sort of touched on it when you said, I didn't think I could act. I didn't know if I could act, and now you're looking down the barrel of like a new avenue creatively, right? And so you're a good actor. You do great work. You know, like square cut, good looking guy. So let's talk about fear. Let's talk a little
Okay.
bit about fear.
Yeah.
Like in creativity, I think fear is inherent to the process, right?
Sure.
So what are some of the like ways you have handled coping with like maybe at the beginning of your career, maybe later, like what are some of the ways you've experienced fear and how you overcame it?
Sure. Yeah. I started on stage, and there's just a fear of stepping out on the stage. From behind the curtains, you're safe. Once you step on, everybody's looking
You're
at
exposed.
you. And I think that my exposure, my very first stage play, Romeo and Juliet, there were so many people there that I thought that was going to be a problem, but that actually helped. It was almost like a blur. Like I could blur them out into the background while I continued everything. And so once I took that first leap of faith onto that stage, it became easier usually in the next ones, especially for that show. But every show after that, you still have to have the guts to step out that first time. And once you've stepped out that first time, it gets easier and easier.
So you think it's a matter of like busting out of the comfort zone, like
Absolutely.
jumping in with both feet.
Yeah, it's that, I mean, I keep thinking of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade and that leap of faith on the invisible bridge. And that's like,
Yeah.
what? That's a big,
Well, you are Nathan Drake.
yeah,
so
well, I'll climb. I'll be your climbing boy.
yeah. Yeah, I mean that's great advice. I think I think in a lot of aspects of life, you sort of need to push out of the comfort zone. And it's like the idea, like if you're not growing, you're dying, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and honestly, I'd like to say this is that, the fear, it doesn't really go away. And I'm not talking about just on stage or getting in front of the camera, but just like things like this, where we're just supposed to be chilling and talking. Like, I have watched so many YouTube videos of other celebrities chatting about their lives. And because I'm genuinely interested, but then I'm also studying them and being like, well, why are they opening up about this particular story? How are they kind of performing in this? Because that's not them with a drink in their hand behind stage talking. That's them with a crowd talking. So it is kind of a performance.
Yeah.
And I think that there's always that, I always love those interviews, especially when they reveal that they still get that imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
And I think that,
Which is real in creatives, right? I mean, everybody
I
here,
have
like
it
you're
all the
always going to
time.
say it. Yeah.
people can compliment me all the time about anything, and I'm still like, yeah, but are they just saying that to my face? Or,
Yeah.
I could probably still improve. And that probably fuels a lot of my, like, trying to study more and more in different ways just to try to get better at something.
Yeah.
Or get more comfortable, or at least appear more comfortable with something.
Awesome, man. You knocked it out of the park, as always. Curtis, you're always doing it, dude. Always
Feel
nailing
the
it.
dreams.
Did you have fun here today with us? Just a
Absolutely.
short little
As
stop
always.
in. Yeah, as always, man. So this was Curtis. You have something to say?
No, I was just gonna say my takeaway was when he was saying you used to be picky about who you work with, and then you lowered your standards and you started working with us.
Yeah. Yeah.
So thanks for that extra dose of
You know,
imposter syndrome.
that's
for
a
us.
different way to look at it.
Yeah,
That's a different way to look at it. Yeah.
There's nowhere lower to go than the bottom of the barrel.
Nowhere lower than Locust Street.
Yeah, nowhere lower than
New tagline.
Yeah. So, thanks for coming, dude. This was awesome. I always love talking to you. I always love seeing you. Where are people going to find you if you want, or what can
You can find me at curtis-caldwell.com. I usually update my website. It's Curtis, it's a minus sign, Caldwell. Someone took curtiscaldwell.com, and I'm really upset about it. Can't get it back.
There's a British author named Lance Parkin who writes Doctor Who books.
Yeah.
And I got the .com, and I got the Instagram, and I got the Twitter. So
Yeah. So it's people like you, huh?
F you, buddy.
I got to find the other Curtis Caldwell. There can only be one. I got to Highlander these people. Yeah, Highlander.
Sorry to interrupt. Yeah.
No. Curtis-Caldwell.com.
Okay, cool, man. And yeah, this is another episode of Cicada Sessions. We'll see you next time. So long.